Okay, let's run.
Okay, let's run!
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to WatchMojo's live rank. Today, we are going to be diving into the mystical and insane world of Nicolas friggin' Cage. So welcome to you all. Welcome to our friends in the chat, which are open for all to participate today. So welcome to you. Quick introductions. I'm Mackenzie. I'm the writing coordinator here at WatchMojo, and I'm joined by my esteemed co-hosts, Andrew and Tim.
I'm Andrew. I'm here to rank lists and put bunnies back in boxes, and I'm all out of bunnies in boxes.
I'm Tim. I'm a content editor at WatchMojo, and I'm a vampire.
Amazing. Welcome to you guys, and welcome to everyone in the chat. Before we jump into the ultimate Cage match, some might say, I would just like to mention that we have WatchMojo's Daily Trivia Challenge is taking place today at 3 p.m. WatchMojo.com/play. The theme today is the internet. It's going to be super fun, so check it out. And at the end of this stream, towards the end, we're going to be joined by a very special guest. So be sure to stick around. Lots of good conversations coming up. I'm so excited about this about this list. So I'll give a quick rundown of what we have in front of us before we jump in. Of course, we have the movies, years, Rotten Tomatoes scores. We have the original rank from 2011 that we published then, and our 3 ranks here. Any movie that appears on 2 or more of these ranks gets shortlisted here for consideration for our fan rank top 10. So please feel free to let us know what you think in the chat as we go. We're going to be throwing some polls your way, and let's go. So I think what my biggest takeaway from doing the research for this was that what makes a good movie and what makes a good Nick Cage movie are not always the same thing. And that is the magic of it. So Tim, how did you approach your rank? What do you think makes a good Nick Cage movie?
I'm sorry to get that for myself.
I agree.
Okay, not a vampire for this section. Yeah, that was something that I definitely tried to, balance myself, and what is the best movie quality, what has the best Nicolas Cage performance, what Nicolas Cage performance is the most Nicolas Cage. And you know what I mean when I say that, of course. So yeah, I think that was just a confluence of things we have to consider when we're actually going about this one-of-a-kind performer.
Totally agree. Andrew, thoughts?
A lot of the same things. I just added that Nick Cage has to be doing something weird in it, something abnormal, something off the beaten path for me to even consider his ranking one of his movies. And I think we just want to see him give his all. So if he goes to those extremes that we love Cage, if he gets uncaged, it was on my list.
If he gets uncaged. I think we have a poll lined up. Can we see what the audience thinks is the best Nick Cage freakout? Because I think that did play into my ranking as well, where it's almost like a Stefan moment. Like, this movie has everything. We have Nick Cage wearing weird shirts. We have Nick Cage freaking out at people who don't deserve it. Maybe they do deserve it. Like, Nick Cage having some weird kind of physical tics that may or may not be necessary to the character.
It was very close, but at 37%, the bees from Wicker Man had edged out Prison Fight from Face Off just ever so slightly.
Oh, no, not the bees! Not the bees! Ah! Oh, my eyes! Eyes! Ah!
You know, I actually considered dressing up as the bees instead of High, but
Just the big bee.
They wouldn't let me bring bees into the office. Maybe next time. Okay, cool. So we have our shortlist already made here. We'll pick like our number. We'll decide right now what's going to be in the top 3, and we'll circle back at the end and decide the order. So I had a super hard. This might have been the hardest rank that I've done in at least in recent memory, because there's so much range, and sometimes he's in movies that aren't great, but he's like fantastic in them. You know, like it's not always like, it's not so black and white. He's a man who wears many masks, And for that, I love and appreciate
And
him.
many faces.
And many faces. Another costume idea I had was just dressing up as John Travolta, but I wasn't sure how to communicate that. Okay, so Tim, you went with Pig for your number one choice.
Pig.
Why?
I mean, you thought John Wick couldn't be any better. This is John Wick with a pig. You know, pigs are more empathetic than dogs.
Pig
No,
facts
no. I
with
mean,
Jim
this is not,
McGuzzin.
no. I shouldn't compare them because they're really not the same movie. But I mean, if we're talking, we've been in like a cage of songs for the last like 5 years since Mandy came out.
Mhm.
I feel like this is his Dallas Buyers Club, is McConaissance peak, if you will. This is the performance that we've been waiting for from him for so many years. He is stupid good in this. He has such a good commanding presence, even though he's very reserved. There's one scene in particular where he's just grilling this chef who used to work for him, and he's just tearing his soul apart with his word choices, and it's one of my favorite scenes in a movie in recent memory. And the whole movie is like that. So yeah, I love this movie. Full stop.
Yeah, I agree. I love this movie too. And I feel like there's like several different cages, right? There's like the action hero cage, there's like indie darling weirdo cage, and then there's like, you know, serious, very like nuanced, kind of delicate performance cage. And I agree. Like I think Pig is a perfect example of that in the Cageaissance. Is that what you said?
Cageaissance, yep.
That's great. It's in the cage world and we're all just living in it. And now for something completely different, Andrew, you went with Face Off at number one.
Absolutely. You don't just get one Nick Cage performance. No. You get a dual Nick Cage performance because he plays both Nick Cage and John Travolta pretending to be Nick Cage. You don't get that kind of range in every movie, but he gave it to us in a movie full of action, explosions, golden guns, and enough doves to lift a small man. I think
Large
that
man. A lot of doves.
I don't know if there's that many. I haven't counted, but I think
movie.
the scientific accuracy of this movie, the peaks of the future, and the action, I think all make Face Off the most Cage movie you could possibly find.
I think we have a clip lined up. Can we just see the intro of Cage's opening in Face Off? This is one of my favorite of all movie scenes in all of movies. Okay, we don't have the crane shot where he looks into the camera and goes.
That's right out the gate. I think that's my argument right there.
I also feel like Hallelujah should play whenever he enters a movie, and he should always come in headbanging. Nicholas Kiefer in the chat says, "Leaving Las Vegas is the best." That's the one I put as my number one. Because to me, that's an example of like, this movie has everything. Like it has great freakouts. It has like a very like subtle, maybe not subtle, but a nuanced, thoughtful performance. Roger Ebert pointed out that there are these two kind of like movie tropes of the self-destructive, alcoholic creative, and the kind of like edgy like woman of the night with a heart of gold. And normally those cliches would not be able to play out so well, but they both bring this like absolutely stellar performance and just knock it out of the park. The movie can be both sad but like lovable, and you kind of forgive them on this path of, or not forgive them, but you're like along with them on this path of self-destruction. And he won an Oscar for this and a Golden Globe for this. So that's why I put it at number one, because I just think it shows him at his best across his whole range. But man, I went back and forth and back and forth. Yeah. Raising Arizona was another one for me that I thought like that for sure could be a contender.
I never would have guessed, really.
I don't just look like this all the time. I've been growing this mustache for like 28 years. It's finally starting to fill out. Okay, what about The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent? Says Be Sponged. I have to agree. I love a meta movie. None of us included that in our ranks. Is there a reason why you guys didn't include it?
It was so close. It was so close, but I just thought there were some other classics that I needed to get on there that for my list personally. But yeah, if enough people think the weight needs to be counted, let us know. I mean,
if the weight needs to be weighed, there's a joke in there somewhere.
At the very least, it has an accurate title.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm interested to see if that comes up in the conversation as we go, or again, like if we want to include that in the rank, because I thought that would be maybe a great number 10, like kick off the list with like the most meta. But I just like you, Andrew, I just felt that all of these other movies really stand alone. That it just got edged out for me. But the man has been, I looked this up, 106 movies as of this month.
Oh my God.
106.
He's not slowing down.
And he's not slowing down, thankfully. If anything, we're going the opposite way. So,
He's back.
Cage essence. So I think we should get into the rank, but this is kind of a natural segue to talk about what our criteria here is. We've decided to exclude animation. And we've decided to focus on movies where he is indeed the star. Because there's 106 movies. And it's like, if we're ranking Cage movies, it has to be a Cage movie. Like Fast Times at Ridgemont High came up in conversation a few times. Great movie, but like
literally 1 second he's in that movie.
Yeah, but exactly. So I feel like we'll just stick to the ones where he's a star. And he when he's in a movie, like it becomes a Nick Cage movie, because even all the range, all the different genres, all the different things he can do, he does just bring such a particular energy to everything he does that I think he has very few actors have the ability to turn a movie into a actor's name movie just by being there. So mad respect to Nick Cage, Sir Cage, Dr. Cage. An honor and a pleasure. Okay, cool. So let's decide what we're going to put in the top 3 right now. We have, I think Leaving Las Vegas is a top 3. That was in me and Andrew's both top 3. That was number 2 on the last list. So we'll mark it off as an A. I'm looking at adaptation too. Tim, that's a little lower for you, but what do you think?
Yeah, I think this movie, it's interesting because this is a great movie, but it's probably great because of Nicolas Cage. And no offense to Charlie Kaufman and Spike Jonze and Meryl Streep. I think his portions of the film are the ones that stand out, not just because he's playing 2 characters, but because it's like Andrew said, you get double the Cage in this movie, but he's also doing something different, I always think about that scene where he's talking about the movie he's gonna write, not the other one, Donald. He's talking about the movie, the 3. Which and every time I watch that, I just want to see that movie. I wish that exists. I'm sure someone's ripped it off, but
yeah.
I think it actually does exist, because a couple years later, I think there's a John Cusack movie that borrows elements strongly from the 3, and it's part of the lore of adaptation. Don't quote me on that, but look it up, because I think I read that somewhere. I think in a meta way, it kind of pulls from the 3 and creates this adapted universe.
The 3 of us are actually the same person. That's the twist of this live stream.
Yes.
Just by our disguises, yeah.
Or WatchMojo hive mind.
Okay, so I would like to pull that for top 3, but we can see when we get there if things get edged out.
Fair enough.
I'm seeing a poll that says 67% says yes to The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which gets me really excited. So I'm stoked on that. I'm going to mark that off. with an X. Love to see it. Move that up here. All right, now for our number 3, top 3 contender, Tim, I'm gonna ask you what you think, because I'm not trying to push your things to this to aside, because I think your rank is excellent, and honestly, I'm gonna be delighted no matter what. So, what do you think is our third choice here?
I mean, in terms of what our consensus looks like, I mean, you know what I love the most, obviously, but you know, I think another good pick is Moonstruck.
Yeah.
I mean, this is obviously him and Cher are the last pair you would have thought to put in a movie together, but they work so well.
Great
And
chemistry.
he's great in a romantic comedy, but he's still unhinged. Like he manages to like I mean his character is really interesting because he's you know he's this big opera buff, you know, in that movie, and he particularly went about that role saying I have to be big like that. You know, I have to make my characters all his mannerisms very dramatic, even though you know they're not playing in a big opera house. You know, where are you taking me? To the bedroom. Like that's his literal affectation, and I love that choice, and I think it works so well. And then of course you have this freak out. I lost my head. I lost my head. Ronnie has his head. Ronnie has his bride. Where's my hand?
Give me the big knife. Give me the big knife. Yeah, okay, I love that. So let's pull that for top 3. And reminder to our friends in the chat that nothing is set in stone. We can always come back to it. But I would like to say, is there anything down here we'd like to save? I'm seeing some fan pics, people mentioning Lord of War. Lord of War, Beyblade of the Flames 1027. Shout out to you, love it. Yeah, should we add Lord of War? I'm down for that.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a different. It's basically Iron Man without the suit. If I may be so bold. Yeah, I think for me the reason it initially missed me is because the plot is great, but it's a very subtle performance, relatively subtle from Nicolas Cage. So that's why I kind of overlooked it. But yeah, I guess we'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah, I'm into it. Is there anything else on here in this section that we want to save? This is where it got hard for me because a lot of these are near and dear to my heart, particularly Vampire's Kiss.
Yeah, I want to say I also
do the bit.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
I love this movie so much.
I think they teach that. They play that clip in kindergarten when they're teaching their ABCs.
They should.
They should.
I also did love Vampire Kiss's spiritual successor, Renfield.
Yeah, appears side by side.
And again, I do think that one is great, but just not as great as the other ones. And in the comments, I see people knowing. If I have any veto power, I'm going to say no. That's a terrible movie. I'm sorry,
but it's not terrible because of him.
No,
that's just that ending on its own ruins that movie.
Yeah.
Oh my god, knowing. Okay, that's awesome. Let's start ranking. Let's get into it. I just wanted to say quickly that Andrew, I thought it was very wholesome and cute that you put National Treasure in your top 10. I think I audibly went, "Aw."
I just want to steal the Declaration of Independence. You know.
Yeah. Let's get a poll. What national monument should Cage steal next? I think we have that lined up. And let's get into the rank here. Okay, so as an easy maybe incision into what we're going to do here, let's talk Cage action movies. Since we have Face Off, Con Air, and The Rock. Would you consider Mandy an action movie? Not of the
thriller.
same. Not
Thriller.
Of the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an action movie in the last 30 minutes, kind of.
Okay. So let's say, because The Rock, Con Air, and Face Off all seemingly came out within like 6 months of each other. So
That's a
it was a big month. How do we compare them, and which is the best? Let's get a poll quickly, but let's also discuss between Con Air, Face Off, and The Rock, which is the best Cage action movie?
Man, I love all of these dearly. I have to say, I love all of these dearly. But I think as much as I love Con Air, obviously, as a Con Air costume here.
Con Air Sewer.
Con Air Sewer. I love it.
Con Air.
I just think Face Off in terms of the ridiculous performance from Nick Cage, the action, a premise that has literally not been repeated because you can't repeat the premise of Face Off anywhere else. If it comes down to one Nick Cage action movie, that's the one by far.
I'm Castor Troy! Yeah! I'm Castor Troy!
Yes, he is. Yeah, Tim, what do you think?
I think Face Off is the pick here. This is the peak of Cage action. It's a movie that also is just matching his level. Like the movie and him are in perfect synchronicity the whole way through. Not to mention John Travolta. It's just it's so over the top, but in the best way possible. It could have crashed and burned like I think Con Air does, but
well, it literally does.
But I don't. In this case, it is hallelujah all the way.
Yeah. Hallelujah. It's so good. Yeah, okay, because I kind of wanted to decide which of the action movies we wanted the highest. Before we get into like which of the more serious movies or the most nuanced, I agree. I think Face Off should be the top action movie. I think there are other movies that could go number 4. But let's start with Face Off as the marker. What do we have on here that is a better Cage movie than Face Off?
That's That's a solid question. I do acknowledge in the chat though, 61% said National Treasure should be in contention. A lot of people here love America and stealing things from it, so I think respect there. Which
you have to steal from America to protect America.
That's the rationale. Yeah. Okay.
I speak for everyone when I say.
On behalf of America. All right, let's grab that. I think that's great. So I would like to, I put Raising Arizona as my number 4 pick, but let's discuss. Because to me, it has everything movie.
Yeah, I think it's a Coen brothers involved production, and you can tell their fingerprints are all over it. I think it's the first Cage movie where the entire world is him. Like it's just as weird and eccentric as Nick Cage is. So for a second, you think he's normal because everything else around him is so weird, but he makes sure to always rise above it. And so I think the plot, which is very, very bizarre, of stealing someone's baby because they have too many, gets so sentimental and so like wonderful, weirdly.
Yes, touching.
I cried at the end. I think
it's a sympathetic kidnapping story.
They had more they can handle.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah, because I was gonna say Holly Hunter and John Goodman actually match his energy really well. Like they're wacky as well. They just kill it. So I would put Raising Arizona at 4, and I would maybe put Face Off at 5.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Although perhaps we can augment Pig. And by augment, I just mean put it at 5.
Yes.
Let's get a poll. Let's see, do we want Pig or Face Off at 5? Very similar movies.
Wow, yeah. Well, all come down to this.
They're basically the same movie. Yeah, Mr. L Productions is saying, I feel Cage deserved an Oscar for Pig. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, he it's an incredible performance. It's an incredible performance.
Yeah.
I will not disagree with that.
He doesn't headbang while dressed as a priest, so that takes some away for me personally. But yeah, let's get a quick poll. Let's see what the people think. Again, it's like I think we'll keep returning to this question of like, or we'll keep finding that it's hard to compare these movies because they're just so different. So maybe it just comes down to performance. And yeah, I do think Pig is a better performance. Ultimately, you have to acknowledge that. I'm sorry, Andrew. Lord of War needs to be. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. Dual performance versus singular. This is what we're deciding today as a culture, which is more valuable. So I'll be very interested to see the poll results.
Yeah, let's see what we think. Yeah. Lord of War needs to be minimum top 10. Okay, that's interesting. So if people feel strongly about that, why don't we put that as our number 10 for now and use that as our benchmark? We'll see what's better and what's not as good. And we can bump it down if we need to. We can bump it up if we need to. Fair enough. Cool. And while we wait for those poll results, I'm going to just go ahead and put Raising Arizona at 4. I'm going to put Pig at 5 and Face Off at 6.
I mean, I think we can call it right now. Face Off has a 73-27 advantage over Pig. So
yeah,
Tribe has spoken.
It's appropriately a slaughter of Pig.
It's like looking in a mirror, but not.
Only, hey, I Dr. Bolton, knock it off.
People in the chat, I invite you to now make suggestions for other actors you would like to see face off. My dream is to have a Face Off sequel where they're different actors doing a face off. So, all right. So 4, 5, 6. I would say after Pig. What do we think about Matchstick Men?
Yes, I'm waiting to talk about this.
Please go ahead.
This movie really surprised me in how just engrossing this story is. And I mean, you do get Nicolas Cage freak out, of course, at the pharmacy.
Mm-hmm.
Heroin beaten up so bad that you take out on the sidewalk and you piss blood.
Have you ever been dragged to the sidewalk and until you pissed blood?
Yeah, that was exactly. I did that. I've watched that movie enough times. I kind of nailed that one.
Yeah, we didn't even need the clip, honestly.
No,
got them right here.
But I mean, this is a con movie, basically at its core, with him and Sam Rockwell. So you're never quite sure what to expect, what's going on the entire time. Mm-hmm. And in that sense, I think a lot of con movies tend to con the audience. Like, it's like, oh, but here's 4 twists that you didn't know were happening at the same time. Oh, here's another one. It's always trying to one up itself. This one, I think, does it the perfect amount of times, and Nicolas Cage sells every scene he's in that regard. Okay. You're kind of on board with him, but he's always adapting and always making every scene he's in with any character really interesting and unhinged. I can't recommend this movie enough.
Yeah, I completely agree. And he manages to do the kind of like physical tics and the agoraphobia stuff without really making the character just about that. There's so much more going on in this movie and in the character's life that I find that sometimes when an actor is like leaning into that kind of character, it becomes distracting, or it becomes like, oh, like that's just like the shtick. But there's so much depth to that character, and I agree that like the con is not heavy-handed. It's very delicate, if we can say that. It's not usually a word that we would use in the context of Cage classics, but there's a lot going on here. I love this movie. I would suggest that we put that at number 7.
Yeah.
Right
Perfect.
All right.
Oh, so now we're getting
Mhm.
Con Air top 3.
Time to kill
Top
some
3 Con
darlings.
Air. I
Uh,
learned when I was doing research for this that Con Air actually won a Golden Raspberry Award for worst reckless disregard for human life and public property.
I mean, that's not wrong.
No, I love it. I like how the Golden Raspberry sometimes do like it's like a compliment.
Mhm.
It's not just a roast.
Have you ever landed a giant plane on the Las Vegas Strip? I don't think so.
I personally have not, but I read also that they were actually originally going to have it crash into the White House, which would have made for a very different ending. But
Yeah.
Bruckheimer apparently like he thought there was like a cool pun of like them like cashing in Vegas, like the cons and the like the rivers of money, the explosions of money. But I was just thinking about that, like, damn, what a different vibe for that ending.
Con Air top. Interesting.
Con Air top 3. See, that's interesting to me. Because I don't agree, but I respect your opinion.
Yeah, I would say Con Air was lower for me because Con Air is, don't get me wrong, it's a great Nick Cage movie.
Love it.
But it's such an ensemble movie too. It's like John Cusack, John Malkovich, Ving Rhames, Danny Trejo. There's so many other people in that movie. Buscemi, Chappelle. Like there's so many people in that movie. So I can't in good conscience say it's like the best Nick Cage movie when there are so many good characters besides Nick Cage also in it. You know, he does not rise that much further above Malkovich because they go toe to toe.
Yeah.
And they're amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Andrew, while you're dressed like that, I should mention, I got this bunny here for you. What do you think about this bunny?
Put it back in the box.
Play the clip.
Play the clip. Yeah, please play the clip. Yeah.
Put the bunny back in the box.
Con Air.
Yes.
Okay, I
Yeah.
wasn't thinking that. Nice.
I love it. I love it.
It's so good. Okay, so let's we're saying like love for Con Air. Let's just put it at number 8 and we can evaluate the list as a whole when we get there. We have 2 spots left. I would love to do a poll right now and see which of
Best movie with Rock in the title.
Tim, what are your thoughts on Red Rock West, which I always almost pronounce like Elmer Fudd, but I say
Red Rock West.
Red Rock West. Yeah, what are your thoughts?
This was one of the movies that I watched this week for my Cage-a-thon that I hadn't seen before. And I was really surprised by how solid of a thriller this is. It's short. It's like 95 minutes or something like that. It gets in, gets out. So if you take anything away from this list of something you haven't seen, I recommend everyone go watch this movie. Cage basically plays this drifter character who gets involved in this hitman scheme in this small Wyoming town. And he's trying to kind of do the right thing, as it were, but everyone else is kind of out for themselves. I don't want to go too deep into the plot, but some of all the set pieces are really excellent. The thrills are spot on. You get a great Dennis Hopper performance in there as well. And you know that was the same year the Super Mario Bros. Movie came out, so the tough, a tough act to follow. But I loved it. I really recommend it.
Amazing. Okay, cool. So that was also in our original list in 2011, which I also like. I'm delighted that there was such a time gap between the original published list and now. He's given us so much since then. What a delight. So I'll ask you guys, we have 6 movies marked off right now. Is there one we can immediately sacrifice? And then we'll throw a poll and see what people want as our number 9. Mustache.
Mustache. Yeah, I think so. Just from what people have said, some people have stood up for Unbearable Weight, National Treasure.
Yeah.
Lord of War, we hear you in the comments. Trust me, we do. And The Rock. So I just haven't heard anyone call out Red Rock West.
Red Rock West.
Rock West. So for that reason, I would say that's the one to throw out.
I got to talk about it. I got to sing its praises. I'm satisfied. We can get rid of that one.
Thank you for coming to my Tim Talk.
Yes, my Tim Talk.
Okay, so we'll throw that one away. And let's get a poll quickly. What do we want to see in our number 9 spot? The Rock, Kick-Ass, Mandy, Unbearable Weight, or National Treasure? The one with the most votes is going to get the number 9, excuse me, the number 9 spot. We do have, 76% of people saying The Rock should be higher than Red Rock West. So that stands. We'll leave that alone. And let's see what the people think. Whoops, for our number 9. Where is Vampire's Kiss? Says In Zombieland. I know, man. I know. I love this movie. I couldn't, I wanted to squeeze that into my rank, but I was like, it just got edged out for me.
Yeah. I think Vampire's Kiss and also Gone in 60 Seconds. I loved that movie so much growing up. And then I watched the original and realized the Nick Cage movie is not as good as the first one. I thought it was an original idea. So I like Nick Cage in original things. So that's why I left out Gone in 60 Seconds for me, personally.
Okay, I like that. Right on. We also do get honorable mentions. So if we circle back around and, it's like we'll choose our number 9, but we're not throwing away any good ideas here. Good ideas only. But while we wait for those poll results, maybe shall we talk top 3? I think it's the time. I think it's that time.
Well, don't forget we have a celebrity shot, right?
Okay, yeah, let's do it now. So we do have a very special guest waiting to come out and make a case for a movie that she feels very passionate about. So if we could please welcome the one and only Rebecca Brayton to the stream.
I said, put the bunny back in the box.
Hello! Welcome!
I'm a bunny and I'm in a box.
Hey, I get it.
Hello, I came to give a very unpopular opinion with both you all and the comments, because I have seen maybe one comment about this movie. The Family Man. Look, here's the thing. Every Christmas, I watch this movie. And if you want to talk about Nicolas Cage movies that have everything, this movie has everything. Is he a weirdo? Absolutely. He's a douchey businessman who becomes a depressed middle-aged dad who's miserable about the direction of his life. Does he sing opera loud? Yes. Does he sing badly at a party to his wife? Yes. Does he develop an adorable relationship with his daughter? Fake daughter. It's a time travel movie, sort of. I don't know. Hard to explain. Does he get to flirt with his cougar neighbors? Absolutely. Look, do I get mad every single time I see the end of the movie? Also, yes. But I would like to make a case for this film, as it is the Nicolas Cage movie I most consistently rewatch.
Amazing. Okay, so
and thank you for coming to my Rebecca talk.
Yeah, thank you for joining. An honor and a pleasure. Let's get a poll really quickly. Do we want The Family Man included in the rank? Yes or no?
It's gonna be a hard no from everybody.
It's not over till it's over. All right. But Rebecca, while we wait for that, for the poll results, what is your take on our rank thus far? What do you think?
All right, let me look. I was expecting, like Face Off, Con Air, The Rock to really be in contention for high on the list, because they're like the most Nick Cage movies from the first era, let's say, of his career. I am really surprised that we didn't have Moonstruck on the original list. I don't know what we were thinking there. So that's another one. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. Yeah, I think your top 3 is solid. I'm just Face Off is so Face Off though.
Right.
Oh, I love that movie.
Take the face off.
Yeah, it's very. I would love to see Face Off higher, but I think you're on the you're getting there. You're getting there. That's how I feel about it. But I also think that there are plenty of movies we can't put on.
Like 106, man.
I know. That's great.
This could be a top 100. Honest, because he has how many movies?
Rank from worst to best. Yeah. Okay, so we have some poll results in about what should be in the number 9 spot. The Rock took 41% of the votes.
Wow.
We have National Treasure at 34, Unbearable Weight at 17, and Mandy at 7. Wow. More people should see Mandy.
The Rock is the winner that gets to go home with the prom queen. I won't say the actual quote.
Yeah.
PG-13
say
This is a family stream. All right. All right. So that is that. Rebecca, I'm going to put The Family Man as an honorable mention.
Oh,
I just want to say 53% said yes.
Oh my God. Thanks,
There we
team.
go.
Appreciate it.
Amazing.
My work is done. No, I'm kidding. Actually, it isn't. Let me know when you have time for a crazy Nicolas Cage story that I have, a personal Nicolas Cage story, sort of.
Ooh.
I think we've got time right now.
All right, let's
hear it, and then we'll do the top 3.
2 years ago, I visited New Orleans, and I visited Nicolas Cage's tomb, mausoleum, grave site. I don't know what you want to call it. Pyramid. It's his pyramid. If you've seen the Nicolas Cage autocomplete, he mentions there, like, one of the questions is, does Nicolas Cage have a pyramid? And he's like, none of your business. Well, so he, okay, I'm going to try to tell the story from memory because I took a cemetery tour and it was years ago, so I don't remember. Basically, he bought a haunted house in New Orleans and ended up basically, he felt haunted, right? And so he went to, I don't know, some expert, and they said, you need to spend eternity as close to Marie Laveau, the voodoo priestess of New Orleans, as you can. So he bought his way into this cemetery that you're not supposed to be able to buy your way into, and kicked out other people who had been there for a while.
Oh my God.
No, what?
Yeah. So, and I don't know how he did it. I don't, because you're not supposed to be able to do it. And so, like, all of the gravestones are like, they're old and they're, they've got a patina on them. And so just in the middle of this graveyard is this giant, bright white pyramid with a saying on it. I can't remember what it says. It's in Latin, and frequently lipstick marks on it.
Makes sense.
And we came upon it, and they were like, here's Nicolas Cage's tomb. I was like, oh, is there like some other Nicolas Cage in history that I'm not aware of? Nope.
No.
Anyway, so there you go.
That's amazing. How did you feel? Did you feel haunted as you were leaving, or did you feel completely at peace?
No, I felt that story, it gave me life, if I'm being honest with you.
That's so amazing.
It's a great segue into Ghost Rider.
A natural segue into Ghost Rider. Thoughts, feelings?
I will also contend, this is very similar to Vampire's Kiss. Ghost Rider is a fun movie, but let's be honest with ourselves, everyone. I don't think Ghost Rider has great expressions, and it is fun to rewatch, but I think in contention with things like Lord of War and Con Air and National Treasure, I don't think that's the same conversation at all.
I agree. I think that's a veto. Rebecca, do you have any thoughts on Ghost Rider?
It's not the superhero or anti-hero or whatever that I would have liked to have seen Nicolas Cage play, but maybe it's the one we deserve. No, I don't think it needs to be on the list. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's not better than Kick-Ass, guys. It's not.
No.
Okay, yeah, it boils down to that question, really. Okay, cool. So we're going to jump into the top 3. Rebecca, thank you so much for joining. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for having me. This is super fun.
Such a pleasure. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you later.
Take care.
Bye. Oh, that's awesome. I want to visit the Golden Pyramid, man. Okay, so let's do a poll and see what the people think. What should be in the number 1 spot? Leaving Las Vegas, Adaptation, or Moonstruck, or something else? So we'll get those 4 options, and we'll see if you vote for something else, and we're going to have to do a little detective work, but that's fine. It's what we're here to do. Looking at this list as a whole, do you guys feel, what are your thoughts so far? I almost like this rank. I almost like Vegas at 1, Adaptation 2, Moonstruck at 3.
Yeah, I think something we do, like behind the scenes, I think something we do with the list is we like to kind of shake it up between like 2 things that are very similar. So it's like we try to like break up 2 action movies or 2 thrillers or what have you. So the only thing I'm seeing here is I think Lord of War kind of slots right neatly in between Con Air and The Rock. You know, I think Rock is a strong opening, and I think Lord of War is like, yeah, we're also getting into the dramas of Nick Cage as well.
Yeah, I love that. Let's bump it up. I'm seeing love for that in the chat too. I think that's a no-brainer. Tim, what about you? What are your impressions looking at this list as a total piece, a total work of art?
Yeah, I was just thinking this is a very well-rounded list. I mean, he has such a varied filmography of not, you know, he's got a bunch of prestige films, you know, those that have given him awards consideration. He's got a lot of great action movies, mostly from the 90s, but still, and those are definitely represented here. And then you have some of these kind of like wild card films on here, like Matchstick Men or Adaptation in a certain respect, or even Mandy. You know, I think if Nicolas Cage saw this, he would be satisfied.
I hope so. We've done him justice this day.
Someone get us Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. I was wondering, in the spirit of Renfield, what horror icon should he do next?
Ooh.
I think we have a poll for that. Can we get that? Can we send that out? Okay. So the poll results are in. Leaving Las Vegas, 18%. Adaptation 7, Moonstruck 14, and something else is 58%. So we have a problem.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think just based on, I'm just going by what people say in the comments. You know, this is a fan rank. I think a lot of people have expressed their love for Lord of War. We hear you. I've seen Con Air, and I've seen a little bit for Face Off, but those are the 3 that I think have kept coming up again and again.
Okay, so then let's do a poll. Which do we want to see in the top 3? Face Off, you said Con Air, and Lord of War.
Yeah.
So we'll give the fans an opportunity. Let's give you guys a chance to get one of those guys in the top 3, and then we'll rank it like that. Because yeah, I mean, this is a project for me that I was like, no matter what happens, I'm gonna be happy. I changed my rank like 9 times.
Do we have the Moonstruck hand clip, people, as we vote? Do we have that?
I can do it again for you.
Yeah, Tim did it really well before. Let's just do that again.
I lost my hand. I lost my hand. Ronnie has his bride. Ronnie has his hand. Where's my bride? Where's my hand?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Yeah, because I personally can see, I would be happy with a Face Off number 1. Honestly, I thought about putting that at number 1. I was like, I just can't.
I wouldn't hate it.
I just can't. We'll give the people what they want. I'm dying to hear what people think about this.
Yeah, I'm telling you, 100% medically accurate film, where you can just swap your faces. There are no other complications. This flawless method.
My favorite subtext about Face Off is that when Castor Troy is in the head of John Travolta's wife just accepts him as a better husband.
Yeah.
He's like, something's off with my man, but it's kind of working.
Yeah.
He's cooking, he's, around more, romantic dinners, he's lighting candles.
Nothing else different about him at all. No other part of him.
He's a better dad to John Travolta's son, a daughter, than he is to his own son, which is wild.
Okay, 61% of people want Face Off in the top.
Let's go.
Yes, I'm so happy. So let's just do it like this. I think we can bump Moonstruck.
That's fine. Yeah.
Of these ones. So then let's do a poll now and say, between Leaving Las Vegas, Adaptation, and Face Off, which of these three picks should be number one? And that will tell us what we need to know.
I think we already know, but
Willy's Wonderland. We did mention about 20 seconds. We did. We did touch upon that, not in a way that Holly would probably like. But has anyone seen Willy's Wonderland?
I watched it this week. I hadn't seen it.
Research.
Yes. It's weird. I mean, can you say a movie where he doesn't speak is one of his best movies? Like, he literally does not have one line of dialogue. At least that I remember. I don't think he spoke at the end like in The Artist. But it's basically the Five Nights at Freddy's movies we haven't gotten yet, where he just kicks a bunch of animatronic dolls' butts. It's a fun ride. It's I think the more as it goes along, the more ridiculous it gets, the more fun it gets. And it's a low budget kind of gem, I would say.
Nice. One that was coming up for me that I kind of wanted to see on here but didn't get any love. That's fine. Is Wild at Heart. David Lynch, Cage, Laura Dern, just like freak show of a movie, which it's like that to me was like a Stefan moment of like, this movie has everything. Murder mystery, heavy metal, snakeskin jackets, The Wizard of Oz. I was like, I don't know. This movie kind of flew under my radar for a long time. And I was like, it's all things I like. So I don't know how that happened. Anyway, it's awesome. Highly recommend.
Yeah, and I will say, if people do like voting for their favorites, there's on WatchMojo.com, there's a suggest tool where you can vote for like live lists we're making. So if you have, after that, go and vote on a few. Might affect the rank.
Definitely. Josh Meyer says, I can't believe the Wicker Man wasn't mentioned. Let's play the clip again.
Yeah,
play the clip again.
No, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah! Oh, my eyes! Eyes! Ah!
That is acting. That is acting.
The bees aren't even in his eyes. But
And I'll say for the people out there, the reason Wicker Man wasn't on my list, the bee scene is not in the original cut of the film.
True.
That is an addition. I don't know why I said it like that. But
addition.
It is not in the original cut, so it is. That's why. Just so short.
All right, we have some results. We have number one at Face Off at 72%. Yes. Leaving Las Vegas comes in number 2, 24%, and Adaptation at 3. Okay, that is definitive. Love that.
I just want to thank the one person that voted for Adaptation. I appreciate it.
I see you, and I appreciate it.
Whoever you are, the one person, I appreciate you.
All right. So there we have it.
Oh,
That's
it
our
is.
list.
Oh, we're gonna have to go. Yeah, no, we're gonna have to switch those top three.
Oh yeah, the Face Off is still number 3.
Oh yeah, I fully just didn't change it. Yeah, thanks.
We're gonna take the face off of that one and
Take the face. Give it another go. Thank you. They gave me one job. All right. Thoughts? Thank you, Lily.
Thank you, Lillian.
I see you. Yeah. Final remarks, closing remarks. What do we think?
This is a great movie marathon.
Yeah, we all lived that this week.
I could watch Nicolas Cage for hours.
All right. Excellent work. Great conversation. Thank you guys. Yeah.
Do one of these. That's the Face Off. That's how he identifies
Yeah.
all his children.
Thank you all for joining. It's been an absolute pleasure and a delight. Shout out to everyone in the chat. You guys are the best. This has been an absolute blast, and hope to see you next time, and hope to see you at 3 p.m. for trivia today. That's at WatchMojo.com/play, and we'll see you there. Thank you again, guys.